Hi my lovely people, welcome back to another fabulous fragrance video. In this video I'm going to share with you my favorite fruity, juicy designer fragrances for warm weather, for summer. I have quite a few fabulous ones. You guys, sometimes designer fragrances really give niche fragrances a run for the money. You know, you shouldn't just judge them by the cover. You know, a lot of the times us, fragrance enthusiasts get carried away with niche fragrances when there are such gems, designer gems, that we should appreciate more. So I have quite a few really beautiful, fruity, juicy, fresh fragrances, designer fragrances for warm weather. So if you want to find out what they are and my thoughts on them, just continue to watch. So the first fragrance I have in my hands is super juicy. It's a very juicy and very sort of lovely, beautiful, feminine fragrance that keeps me feeling beautiful and smelling good and fresh all throughout the day, throughout the time I wear this. This has got quite a good, wear. I would say about, 6 to 7 hours, going on 8. Especially if you spray on clothes, it'll last longer. This one is from a fragrance line that I absolutely adore, from one of the fragrance houses that I absolutely adore. So this one is Miss Dior Absolutely Blooming. You guys, this one, so fruity. It's super fruity fragrance. Very juicy, very fruity. This has, of course, the one opening fragrance note that makes fragrance is super juicy. You guessed it, it's blackcurrant. Blackcurrant makes fragrances have that like sort of juicy burst of freshness. This also has raspberry, which is another amazing note that just makes fragrances just smell so fruity and juicy. I absolutely love it. This has pink pepper and some pomegranate, I believe. There's rose and peony. You guys, I gotta say something about the combination of rose and peony. Those two florals together is just absolutely delicate and beautiful and feminine, just very classy. It gives this classy kind of scent to fragrances. So this also has a good dose of musk, which makes fragrances always very sexy. I gotta say, I feel like maybe this has ambergris as well, because it's that kind of fragrance that is so juicy. And usually, fruity, juicy fragrances tend to have ambergris in the base, because that ambergris is that fragrance note that has like slight bit of marine vibes, like mineral vibes, and some woody nuances. If there's woodiness, it probably comes from like ambergris or something like that, but definitely not sharp woody notes like cedar or anything like that. Yeah, so beautiful. This wears, it's long wearing, and I like to kind of layer this with one of my sort of like peony rose kind of body care, shower gels and stuff. And sometimes I mix a little bit of raspberry in with the peony and rose kind of body creams. And you guys, like I said, it's not been proven that body care actually extends longevity of fragrances, but you know what, it's fun, and that's why we do it. It's just fun to do it. But anyway, whenever I wear this, I feel really like super pretty, beautiful, like a girl, like a lady. It's very like feminine, and at the same time I feel very refreshed, like somebody who smells good all day, and never smells bad, you know what I mean? And I just stepped out of the shower and I just put something really beautiful on myself. Let me spray this. So this is Dior Absolutely Blooming. This is a flanker to the original Miss Dior. This is one of my favorite flankers, actually. This one is like a lot juicier than the original. So speaking of the fragrance house Dior, I have a fragrance in my hands from their Privee line, and this one is absolutely stunning, you guys. You guys know that I have been talking about the Dior Privee line for a very long time. I have been basically collecting Dior Privee line fragrances and telling you about it for like, you know, a couple of years now actually. So now I see that it's catching on and everybody's talking about the Dior Privee line. Yeah, it's a very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fragrance line. There's something about the compositions from this fragrance line that's just very special, you guys. It's hard to describe, and I love the bottles and everything. So this one in my hands is none other than Dior Rouge Trafalgar. You guys, this one. You know what? I can smell these fragrances, but I will spray it just for your fun. You know, I gotta tell you, something about those Dior Privee line fragrances, there's something very delicate and very, I wouldn't say smooth, very, very beautiful and next level about the compositions. This fragrance right here is absolutely juicy. It's very fruity. It's got some very juicy berry notes right in the opening, like strawberry and raspberry. Those two notes really shine through in this fragrance, and combined with the juicy burst of fruity freshness from the blackcurrant note that's in the middle, which is quite a dose, right? If it's in the middle. So it opens with that juicy berry burst, and then that blackcurrant really adds to that juiciness of the fragrance. And then of course there's that cherry that's in here that adds a little bit of a sweet cherry nuance in the background. It doesn't shine as much as the berry notes, but it definitely, I'm glad cherry's there. That's what makes this one special, this composition. And there's mandarin orange, which is a nice, like, sweeter citrus that really like adds like a nice layer. And then there's grapefruit, which adds to the freshness, which I think, you know, grapefruit and mandarin, two of my favorite citrus notes, you guys. Not a huge fan of bergamot, depends on the composition. But this also has a huge dose of musk that makes it sexy. And there's a tiny, tiny bit of, oh, by the way, I almost forgot, the rose and peony in this fragrance together. Those two notes, you guys, rose and peony, I must say something about them. Those two florals together, they're absolutely delicate and gorgeous together. They smell amazing. They complement each other so, so well. I feel like peony kind of softens, I mean, if you can even say that, because rose is already a softer fragrance note, but peony kind of like makes it even more delicate. You know, when you add peony to rose, there's musk in the base, again, makes it sexy. There's a little bit of patchouli, which I can't smell at all. So don't you worry, if you're not a patchouli lover, you can't even detect it. I don't even smell an earthiness that much from the patchouli, maybe like a tiny, tiny bit. Beautiful, juicy, fresh fragrance for hot weather, summertime. Love it. This is Dior Rouge Trafalgar. So you guys, I have one of the most light, refreshing, juiciest summertime hot weather fragrances in my hands. This is one of my favorites to wear on like super like 100-degree high heat weather. This really stands up to hot weather really well. This only performs great in hot weather. This one is L'Imperatrice by Dolce and Gabbana. You guys, this one is that gorgeous guava, melon, juicy, light burst of freshness. You guys, so fruity. It's like biting into a very watery, juicy tropical fruit like melon or, you know, or guava. You guys, people keep talking about this as a watermelon fragrance because that's what Fragrantica has listed. Everybody says this smells like watermelon, you know, this is a watermelon fragrance because those are the notes that Fragrantica has listed. But I tell you something, this has guava. This fragrance is more of a guava note dominant fragrance. I smell the guava more than I smell the watermelon. So there's definitely guava in this fragrance in the opening. And of course there's that, you know, beautiful watery, juicy, ozonic watermelon as well. So you can smell the watermelon. The watermelon is a note that gives fragrances this sort of ozonic, aquatic, watery quality, that freshness. So yeah, that's there. And this has a very juicy, ripe strawberry note in it as well. But you guys, I smell the guava. There's guava in this fragrance, I'm telling you. So let me actually spray it so I can even get that burst even more. Yeah, I'm telling you, the guava, guys. That's what I'm picking up the most in this fragrance, I'm telling you. And this has gorgeous, gorgeous, delicate florals like peony, magnolia, damask rose, I believe, and a cyclamen, which is a fantasy floral, by the way, because there's no scent to that floral. And this has musk and some woody notes like sandalwood. Fragrantica lists, I think, like smoke for this fragrance. I gotta tell you guys, I smell no smoke. I cannot say that this has any smoke in it whatsoever. Not sure what's going on there. I don't know if it's correct, but I tell you something, there's nothing smoky about this fragrance. So I'm not really sure what Fragrantica is talking about. Fragrantica gets the notes wrong a lot of the times, you guys. I'm telling you, this has guava and it doesn't have smoke. So that's what I have to say about this. This is like the perfect fragrance for 100-degree weather, like beating down sun, hot summer days. This performs the best in like high heat. This is a high heat fragrance, you guys. Absolutely love wearing like that, you know, this freshness, that juicy, fruity freshness on hot summer days. I like to wear this kind of like around, you know, running around, running errands, around the house, you know, just feeling kind of shower fresh. This is L'Imperatrice by Dolce & Gabbana. So now I have the most beautiful, fruity, tropical fruity summer fragrance in my hands with the weirdest name, you guys, that doesn't match the juice inside at all. This one is, of course, a Mugler Ice Star. There's nothing ice, there's nothing icy about it. If anything, it's the polar opposite. So let me spray this. This I can't smell at all that well through the atomizer. Sometimes I can smell, but not always. Yeah, actually I can smell it. But anyway, I'm gonna spray it. You guys, this has a delicious, ripe, juicy pineapple note in there that you smell right away. It's a very natural smelling pineapple note, very juicy, adds that juiciness to this fragrance. There's coconut with that pineapple, which gives it another, you know, burst of tropical freshness, tropical scent. And this has sweetness. It's very sweet fragrance from the praline in the base. Now, don't worry about it. Does it mean it's a heavy fragrance? No, this is super, very, very light actually. It's very long wearing, by the way. I mean, it goes on and on and on until you wash yourself. This has praline, but it is only there to add that sweetness. It doesn't make the fragrance heavy at all. Sometimes it happens in warm weather compositions like this. For example, I'll be talking about another one coming up here soon. That one has cocoa powder. And, you know, it doesn't make it heavy. It just adds sweetness and that sort of like the layer, you know. And then, of course, it has a large dose of vanilla, which adds to the sweetness. Slight bit of patchouli. Again, the patchouli is undetectable, not that prominent. I don't smell the earthiness from the patchouli at all. So if you're not a patchouli lover, still get this. Doesn't matter. It doesn't smell like patchouli at all. I think patchouli just makes it last longer. Beautiful for, you know, like tropical getaways or tropical vacations, just wearing it in the summertime. Very much kind of like a, you know, relax, get in the vacation mood kind of fragrance. This is Angel Eye Star. So next I have a very fruity, slightly kind of, I wouldn't say tropical, maybe because of lychee. It's also rose fragrance, but the fruitiness is more dominant than the rose chord in this fragrance. This is from the house of Carolina Herrera. This is a very good girl, of course. This one is another one I can't quite smell very well through the atomizer. That lychee. That's what I smell in the opening the most, which gives it that juicy fruitiness. Ooh, I got some in my eye. It's a beautiful, juicy fragrance. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Delina DNA, but it's not anything like too close to Delina. Definitely doesn't have like that sharp sourness Delina has. And the rose in here is not as prominent as the rose in Delina. This is more like fruity leaning. The lychee really shines through in the opening. This actually has like red currant in there too, adding to that like lychee, you know, juiciness. And there's rose, of course, in the middle. There's a huge dose of vanilla. But the main thing I smell in this fragrance is the fruitiness from that lychee. But I'm pretty sure this has other fruity notes. I feel like I smell some blackcurrant. I feel like I'm smelling at least one citrus, but very, very subtly. It's not a very sharp cutting kind of one. There's no sourness, definitely like the Delinas at all. Yeah, very beautiful, very kind of lychee, fruity fragrance. It's not like super juicy, but it's like a very like lychee fruity fragrance, you know. I don't know how else to describe it. This is Carolina Herrera, very good girl. Next, I have a super fruity favorite of mine for summertime. This one is from the house of Louis Vuitton. This one is Attrape-Reves. You guys, this one, so juicy, so fruity. I really don't want to or have to spray this, but I'll spray a little bit. I don't want to waste my fragrances, you guys. I smell it from the atomizer, this one, very strongly. So good. You guys, I went into the Louis Vuitton boutique and I smelled basically all of their fragrances. This one is the one that grabbed my attention the most. I went in to smell Étoile Filante, but I ended up getting this one actually, because this one is so much more beautiful than that one in my opinion. This is another one that has that juicy fruitiness from lychee actually. So the fruitiness in here comes with lychee. Guess what lychee complements the most? Rose, of course. So this has rose in here as well. But then to make that rose more delicate, there's peony. So rose and peony combined with that juicy lychee. Oh. And you guys, in the opening, this has ginger. You know how it has that kind of like zing. Oh, so good. I've never found the correct words to describe what ginger smells like. It's like a, almost kind of like a, how do I say? Like it's like a, kind of like a burst of something. Like I can't quite put it in the right words, you know. This has a little bit of bergamot. And you guys, this is the one I was talking about with the slight bit of cocoa powder. Again, the cocoa powder is there to add, I feel like, sweetness and like that sort of like dimension. It doesn't make it heavy at all. This is a very light, very juicy, very fresh fragrance. It's very fresh. This one, you guys, keeps me feeling and smelling fresh all day. This has a little bit of patchouli, again, very unnoticeable. I can't even detect it, honestly, so don't worry about the patchouli. Yeah, this one is Attrape-Reves by Louis Vuitton. So now I have more of a, like a beast mode, kind of, I would say nighttime wear, juicy, fruity fragrance for summertime. This is, again, something I like to wear in the summertime, although this is more of the, I wouldn't say heavy side, but something more appropriate for nighttime. This one is the 2014 formulation of this particular fragrance. It's, of course, Jimmy Choo Exotic, the 2014 formulation. This also, I believe, has like a 2015 and a 2016 formulation. Like this got like reformulated several times. So this is like probably the oldest one. Yeah, this is a Jimmy Choo Exotic. This, you guys, so beast mode. I am not gonna spray this one because this is like, ooh, I can smell it over here. Beast mode. Yeah, definitely. Very strong, you know, something very strong in this fragrance. Well, I kind of know what it is. I'll get there. The juiciness, the fruitiness comes from the big juicy burst of freshness from that fruity freshness from the blackcurrant in the opening with the grapefruit. Those two definitely make it very fresh, very juicy in the openings. And this has like passion flower and orchid for like florals. This has a juicy raspberry note, I believe, in the base, so it adds a lot of like that raspberry feeling. And this has quite a bit of patchouli, I would say, which is what makes it that like gives it that strong smell, you know, kind of like tamarindo, you know how it's like a summertime fragrance but it has like patchouli, so it's kind of like on the stronger punch you in the face level, kind of, you know, it's kind of what this is. So this is why I recommend this for nighttime. The people will smell you with this one. People will smell you with this one, because this will project, you guys, and it will last all night long, all day long. Really very juicy, but also kind of strong because of the patchouli, I would say. Jimmy Choo Exotic 2014. So now I have a very juicy, very pineapple-y fragrance in my hands, you guys, from the Dolce & Gabbana Fruits collection that came out in 2020, I believe. You guess what it is. This one is Dolce & Gabbana Pineapple. I almost don't want to talk about this fragrance, you guys, because you can't get a hold of this anymore. This one is like gone, you know, like this keeps coming in and out of stock at Harrods. I found this on another website here in the US, but they've jacked up the price since to a ridiculous amount since I first talked about this fragrance. Don't recommend it. I don't want to even link it. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I got it also for too much money, but not as much as what they've put on now on the website. This one is a very juicy, ripe pineapple fragrance. Right in the opening, you have that juicy, big, like sweet pineapple. This is a very sweet fragrance, by the way. And the mandarin orange note is the perfect citrus for this because it really complements that pineapple. This has lots of like jasmine, but you can barely smell it. It's the fruitiness you smell the most. Loads of course, vanilla that makes it very, very sweet. There's apparently a slight hint of tobacco that I'm not really detecting. I can't really even smell it. I couldn't tell if it was there, you know. You can't even, I don't even know why they put it here. I guess it does something to it, but I'm not smelling it. This has ambergris, you guys, which I told you is always added to like fruity fragrances because it really complements like that juicy fruity freshness, because ambergris also has sort of like this like marine kind of like mineral-y vibes. There's woody nuances too, but you know, like it really works with juicy light fruity fragrances. Yeah, and this I think has another floral like orchid maybe, I don't know. Other notes are kind of insignificant. What you smell the most are that actually the pineapple, the mandarin orange, and the vanilla. So yeah, this one is a Dolce & Gabbana Pineapple. I featured this in my pineapple fragrances and body care products layering combo video. I'll link it up here and down in the description box for you guys. This one is great, except it's hard to find now. Now I have another very super fruity, sweet fragrance. This one I again featured in my pineapple video because this has a very juicy pineapple note right in the opening. This one is from the Elisab Girl of Now line. This is a flanker to the original. This is Girl of Now Shine. This has that pineapple note. In here is what makes it super fruity and makes this fragrance very special. This does have the nuttiness, nutty DNA from the original with the pistachio and almond, but they don't dominate in here like the original, like it is in the original. There's more of like the pineapple note shines through more in this fragrance, and like along with the other fruity notes like the juicy pear and the mandarin orange that's in this fragrance. I feel like every time there's pineapple in the opening, they tend to pair it with either mandarin orange or grapefruit. I think mostly mandarin orange because it's like a very syrupy, sweet citrus instead of like a sharp citrus like bergamot. Really complements, you know, the pineapple note. Like I said, this has, you know, like that almond and pistachio, but this has like florals too, like orange blossom, jasmine, ylang ylang. They're all like nice and tropical smelling, which like especially ylang ylang, which adds to that beautiful tropical pineapple note. And then this has lots of vanilla, a little bit of powderiness from a blue purple flower, I believe is iris. There's patchouli. You can smell the patchouli a little bit. It just gives it strength. This is a bit of a beast mode fragrance. This lasts like forever, really. When you wear it, it'll stay on you like over 8 hours. Yeah, this one is apparently being discontinued, you guys, but you can still grab it on fragrancebuy.ca. I will link it down in the description box. Yeah, this is Girl of Now Shine. So now I have a fragrance that is juicy and fruity, but also kind of rosy. This one is from a luxury designer fragrance house. It's Christian Louboutin, of course, you guessed it. Louboutin Loubi World Collection. This is Loubi Funk by Christian Louboutin. You guys, this has a pineapple on the top, but no pineapple is listed. Sometimes I wonder if it does have, because I feel like I don't want to spray it actually. I can smell this right from the nostril here. This is got that juicy burst of fruity freshness from the blackcurrant note, you guys, right in the opening. There's rose, like I said, and this has a little bit of patchouli, but I gotta tell you, I don't detect the patchouli whatsoever. It's funny they chose to highlight those 3 notes. Those are the only notes they've revealed, but you know there are a lot more notes in here than that. Patchouli is not even that prominent, and they listed it, you know, one of the only 3 notes they revealed. I feel like this has like a berry note, like raspberry-ish. I feel like I can smell the raspberry a little bit, I think, or strawberry. And I feel like this has maybe a little pineapple. I don't know. I mean, this is actually to signify or represent the inspiration of this fragrance, which is Brazilian Carnival. That's probably why there's a pineapple. That doesn't necessarily mean it has pineapple, but I sometimes wonder because I feel like I can almost smell a little bit of pineapple. Yeah, this is Loubi Funk from the Loubi World Collection of Christian Louboutin. So I have another Mugler fragrance that is super, super fruity. This is very fruity. This one is Angel Nova. Also a great summertime fragrance. I'm gonna smell this one, spray this one. Oh, you guys, whew, that juiciness, so good in the opening. This has that lychee fruitiness, like some of the other ones I mentioned. Lychee is also like a tropical, juicy, fruity note. And this also has raspberry. Lychee and raspberry really complement each other. So this has some rose, but I feel like this also has peony, because I can smell a little bit of peony, which has made this fragrance, like, gives it that sort of delicate scent. And this has benzoin, and I believe vanilla too, because I feel this is very sweet. I feel like it has vanilla too with the benzoin, because benzoin is a resin that smells like kind of like vanilla, you know. But apparently this has like a little bit of oud. Yes, I can sort of smell a little orientalness in here, but it's not very strong, you guys. The oud is not too strong. So yeah, and it doesn't make it heavy by any means. It does make it maybe a little stronger. Yeah, this one lasts also forever. Like, it'll last throughout the day. This is Angel and Nova. Now I have another super duper, like, extremely fruity fragrance from one of my favorite fragrance houses. This is, of course, a sea fragrance from Giorgio Armani. This is Sea Passion. You guys, I talked about this in my pineapple fragrances video. This is another one I don't need to spray. I can smell it really, really, really well. This has a juicy, juicy pineapple note with a bunch of other juicy fruits right in the opening. This has a juicy, juicy, juicy pineapple note in the middle. There's like pear and like blackcurrant and like grapefruit and like pink pepper or something in the opening. That, again, you know, blackcurrant, juicy, fruity freshness, pear, juicy, you know, grapefruit, fresh. So yeah, you know what it adds up to. And this has some, you know, that juicy, juicy pineapple note, of course, with some delicate florals like jasmine, like heliotrope and rose, I think. And then this has a huge vanilla accord note in the base, giving it a vanilla accord. Little tiny bit of patchouli, which you can't really detect whatsoever. It's very, very understated in this one. And some, I think, woody notes. Yeah, beautiful, juicy, 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 fruity fragrance. Love, love, love it. It's not too terribly long lasting, but still gets about 5 hours, which is what, 5-6 hours. And if you spray on clothes a lot longer, that's really all you should expect from fragrance anyway, you guys. Yeah, this one is Giorgio Armani Sea Passion. Next, I have a very nostalgic and very affordable, very, 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 very tropical, juicy, fruity fragrance. This one is Escada, Born in Paradise. This has guava and melon, you guys. You know what they do. I just talked about what they do. Watermelon, I mean. Watermelon gives that ozonic, sort of like aquatic freshness, watery freshness. Guava smells very tropical. There's some apple in here too. There's coconut and pineapple. There's musk, cedarwood. Beautiful fragrance. It's not too terribly long lasting. There again, you know, you can't really expect that much from a, you know, an affordable fragrance, but still it's very kind of like beautiful for like hot summer days when you're running around doing errands, you know. Very kind of puts you in like that holiday mode, when vacation mode, when you're not even on vacation, you know what I mean? And it kind of takes you back to your like younger days, you know, when Escada fragrances were super like popular. Yeah, this is Escada Born in Paradise. So you guys, that's it. Those are my juicy, fruity designer fragrances for warm weather, for summertime. They are perfect for this time of the year. These are my summertime favorites that I pull out when I want to smell fruity, when I want to smell fresh. I want to smell fresh all day. I want to smell delicate and beautiful all day long. And like, just like I've been showering every passing hour, you know, these keep me fresh and smelling good all day long, you guys. These all like, well, except maybe a couple like Dolce and Gabbana Pineapple, you have to respray, but many of them really last quite nicely. So yeah, let me know what your summertime juicy, fruity designer fragrance favorites are down in the comment section. Speak to me. You guys are not talking to me very much. I need to hear from you guys so I can know your thoughts. I can see if you're, you know, I can find out if you're enjoying my videos. What do I need, you know, what do you need to see next? Do you love the fragrances I talked about? What about your thoughts, your fragrances? Talk to me, people. Just let me know down in the comment section. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell right next to it for all notifications so that you will never miss any of my videos. Subscribing, not enough anymore. Try subscribing and not hitting the notification bell. You will never see a notification for my videos. You will never remember it. You will never watch it. So just make sure to hit that notification bell for all notifications, not just some. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where I post everything and I make a lot of really important announcements on Instagram. So don't miss out on those. I will see you guys in my next video.